y'all know about McKinneyville arachnids with 10 trillion ants swarming all over with mandibles latching. Atlantis finest, mantis madness, the otis, alkaline pilot Osiris, Osalago modest. And to be exact, this the ain't no more playing G.A. Tamaray, open all three of your eyelids. The highest title, numero uno, commander-in-chief on this beat. Remember your fleet of Guantanamo, I saw we playing dominoes, man. When you hop in the whip, bumping the Celia cruising, I knew they go Calderon. Then hit the liquid eyes, looking like Riddick Chronicles, dominoes. It's the Honorable Apache, break Geronimo, woke path on the prodigal, keeping your eye on the Powerball. Now you see we switching lanes. What y'all really know about the Ripper's veins? So many names, shot down in flames. Woe after woe, we see through they games. Password, hood, rave, pound, settle, dose. Shout out to be for highway folk holding down O's. Oh, midday, took my X chromosome. Hexadecimal syllabary, electrical gloom, metal chrome. Poem, manifesting in song. And took one for my folks that's gone. I'm so good, I'm on. The book is on. Good looking throne. Keep booking down. This here Brooklyn Con. Keep on cooking, y'all. Or make sure to check your phone and update the song. And toke one for my folks that's gone. And this goes back to TNC surf. About the same time Bill and Ted's adventure had crossed my turf. DNA time travel ley line of earth. Master of rain, kick flip on vert. Triptych televised, picnic reverse. Misfits telling lies, lifted the curse. Hip hip hooray, Don Quixote Bay. Trick switch terrorize, this is the verse.
Yeah, so Nature Boy's bond has been denied pretty much by default. He didn't appear on the calendar. So when you don't appear in the calendar, it's the same as not being there. You know, it may be that his lawyer, that, you know, his Nature Boy's wives didn't pay for the lawyer to be able to appear, you know, because before the calendars and stuff like that, you know, the lawyers got to write their names in the calendar and stuff like that. So yeah, we don't know what exactly happened, but we do know that, you know, his bond was basically denied by default for not, you know, being on the calendar. He was never, they never said his name. So basically, you know, the court date's going to be moved to some other time in the future, or maybe not. You know, we don't know what's going to happen. But we do know that Nature Boy is going to be continue to be locked up. So his bond was basically denied. All right. Peace. Nature Boy is definitely a danger to the community. He's got sisters, you know, fighting each other, biting each other. He's slapping sisters, you know, he's, you know, imprisoning people, trafficking people. You know what I'm saying? He's been kicked out of, like, you know, 5 Central American countries. You know, I've been following everything since probably, like, you know, the van situation where, you know, they had a van that wasn't theirs and they all got arrested. And that was the first time I saw them. I was like, what's this, all these people being arrested? You know, this was years and years ago. What's this, all these people being arrested? And, you know, I was like, are they unlawfully arrested? But then I found out, you know, he purposely got them arrested. You know what I'm saying? And you know, he's been stealing money from people. It's like Rambo and, you know, and his wife, you know, they gave him like, Rambo gave him like $30,000, if not more, of his mom's insurance policy money. He's just, you know, taking money from people, just like Elron was doing, just, you know, and Nature Boy is really trying to become an official religion. And that's why, you know, it's a very, very, you know, it's very, very interesting subject, you know, because right now at TTM Academy, we're dealing with criminology, and these subjects dealing with law. And, you know, there's a lot of lawlessness going on in hip hop. And, you know, Nature Boy is also a rapper. You know, people forget that Nature Boy's a rapper. If y'all don't remember, he was, you know, copying a bunch of Young Pharaohs, back jumping stuff and all that. You know, and as far as rappers now, finally, you know, the Atlanta Police Department is setting a precedent in taking down the cults and the gangs that are making the black community an unsafe place. You know, there's a lot of problems going on in the black communities worldwide, and you know, this is this is one of them. You know what I'm saying? One of them is, we've got cults and gangs and stuff like that going rampant, on the radio, and just, trafficking, like they got rid of back pages and things like that. But, we don't know if he's pimping these women, his wives, you know what I'm saying? He definitely passes them on to different people within his cult, which is also technically a form of trafficking. If you're going state to state, going to Puerto Rico, flying around, and then you're passing this woman on to this guy and, telling her that's your new boyfriend and stuff like that. That's that's a lot of criminal stuff. So he hasn't gotten any RICO charges yet, but I think that most likely what's going to happen is this extra charges are going to be dropped in. And also my thoughts on the subject from a legal perspective. He was only arrested for, I don't want to mean to say only, peace to Neytiri. He was arrested for the R word, the grape without a G, the R word, and also false imprisonment. Also, he was putting revenge porn onto the internet. They had done some recordings. She said that she didn't know that it was ever going to be posted, and he posted it. So and what Nature Boy says is like, oh, she's an ex prostitute or whatever. Why should you believe her? And the thing is, he has a lot of ex prostitutes as his wives and things like that. And he purposely seeks people that are on the edge, or people that were on Skid Row, or people that were out of the mental institution. We just covered the lecture about Mariah Lynn Kelly, his follower that actually stabbed her own mother. But today this is more about Neytiri, because this case is, it's not dealing with all his other crimes. He's got so many crimes that he's done. This is just his crimes against Neytiri. And yeah, I saw Neytiri at right before she went to Puerto Rico. I saw her at I feel like at Tassili's or something, selling stuff, selling crystals and stuff. And it's just really, really sad to see sisters being imprisoned and brainwashed, and brothers being brainwashed too. But I would say that a lot of the brothers that were are in or were in, or people like Tron and all these other people, even True, all these people, they've done a lot of dirt as security, and they've seen a lot of things. And I don't think that Nature Boy is the only one that's guilty. I think a bunch of his followers are actually probably guilty, and I think they all need to be investigated, you know what I'm saying, for everything that happened in the past, you know what I'm saying, as far as, the deaths of unborn children and things like that. There's a lot of weird stuff going on, like Solar or whatnot, And it's also important to note, like, everybody's talking about True, this and that, but it's also important to note that, True did heinous things to his sister, and I can't even imagine why somebody would want to interview True, or, people have a really short memory in today's world, which is very sad. We hear all the information that comes out there, and then a lot of times it just goes through our head. So it's like, you hear the information of what True did to his sister, and then it's like, oh yeah, whatever, I forgot, that was a long time ago, that was a year and a half ago, I heard about that. And then it's like people are leaving love comments on his page and stuff like that. But any person that's going to do such a heinous thing towards their sister, and anybody that's going to let them into their cult, based on that, obviously he's Nature Boy, aka 3 God, has handpicked people that are clearly, like I was saying, on the edge mentally, on the edge, criminally, but also just, organizing a bunch of sick people to perform more sick things, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, a lot of times when somebody has something over your head like that, and they know, maybe Nature Boy, will say stuff to other members like, hey, they can use that type of information, like what True did to his sister. They can use that to control people, you know what I'm saying? That's why, he doesn't need to be out of jail, because the thing is that, when they're looking at that, they're looking at, is he a flight risk? Is he a danger to witnesses? They were intimidating witnesses. He had his, wives, and there's different people trying to intimidate witnesses and stuff like that. Same even with the Rashad Jamal fans. They're trying to intimidate witnesses, and even the same with YSL, a Young Thug. We were just at the now we're at, this is Dekalb County Jail. We were just at Fulton County Jail, and before with the Young Thug stuff, and it's all the same. Gangs, cults, it's all the same. Anytime you're brainwashing people and to join you and harm others, you're a danger to society. And a lot of people feel like, everybody's exaggerating this Nature Boy stuff. He's just trolling and trying to be peace. He's a likable person, this and that. If you watch his videos, if you watch Rashad videos, you watch, even Young Thug, I'm sure, could be a likable person. But just because somebody's a likable person, a certain percentage of the time, doesn't excuse them for all their crimes and stuff like that. So what happened in Neytiri was, she was trying to leave. He wouldn't let her leave, and he violently did the grape word. I'll just say grape without a G, and imprisoned her there. You know what I'm saying? He was literally imprisoning her in his Airbnb. They would go around the world and in different Airbnbs. And I think that he was able to use the rapper thing to get away with stuff for a long time here in Atlanta. Just like, I'm a rapper. Like when Malia had her breakdown where she was screaming in the middle of the complex, and then the other women went and beat her down. He was able to tell the police, like, we shoot rap videos here, and we're just like, when the police roll there and they see 16, 15 people up in one Airbnb, all wearing black shirts and black pants, they think like, okay, this might just be another, Atlanta's a rap mecca now. Atlanta is the mecca of rap now. It's the new mecca of rap. And sadly enough, the gangster cult stuff is in the middle of it, even the orgy stuff. Shout out to Asir and his queen Selena for pointing out all the Atlanta orgy stuff, that's been going on. And Atlanta's become a place for like a lot of illicit crimes. You know what I'm saying? A lot of illicit, sex trafficking and things like that, and so, I think it's a very, very good thing that the judge, denied Nature Boy's bond. Same with Young Thug, same with Gunna, same with Rashad Jamal. I think 2022 is a very, very important era, because I've been predicting this. I've been saying we need to, arrest all the gangs, what I'm saying? Because, just like with the Italian mafia, all the gangs got shut down, what I'm saying? Steven Seagal might have been one of the last people that was still getting extorted by the Italian mob in the entertainment industry. But now on the radio, we don't have to worry about the Italian mobs, payola stuff and controlling the radios. Now we have to worry about the Bloods and the Crips. Not even the Crips, really just the Bloods. It's a blood monopoly, what I'm saying? Nicki Minaj, her new husband's a Blood. And he's a P word as well. Same charges, R. Kelly stuff. Cardi B's a Blood, right? Remember Brim, her last name Brim. Cardi Brim is for Cardi Brim Gang. Her blood set is the Brim Gang blood set. And they got RICO charges, but she didn't get in trouble. And that's what I've been saying, is that they need to just make it a nationwide thing and just bag everybody, and change the whole rap game. Because right now, you're going to see a lot of people go positive. You see Lil Baby, rocking hipster t-shirts and stuff like that, trying to go positive. He's been saying positive stuff. He hasn't been saying all the street stuff. He's been cutting back on it. And, because he knows things are about to shift, what I'm saying? And in the rap world, we can use the police department to help us, clean up hip hop. In the 90s, I used to be like the same tip of like, it's on the parents. It's the parents' job to intervene. But just like with Nature Boy, you could say the same thing. You say, these kids' parents that he brought into his cult weren't doing their job. But it's like, no, the parents might have been great parents, and he's been grooming. Nature Boy got caught grooming kids, in high school and stuff like that, and telling them to join his cult when they turned 17, 18 or whatever. And a lot of people left like that. And then Young Pharaoh caught him grooming, underage kids and stuff like that. So then he started grooming a little bit of older people, what I'm saying? But, so I want to say once again, shout out to all the positive law enforcement out there that's bagging up all these cults and all these gangs, because, it's really, really affecting everything. Where, if you go to Tassili's, they got a dude that looks like he's got the Tomb Raider outfit, all strapped with all types of guns and looking all crazy. I'm like, dang, why is Tassili's, like a vegan, kale wrap restaurant got to have heightened security, when, you go next door to Arby's or, Captain D's fish spot and there's no security. So I'm like, wow, so crime within the Hotep community. When I say Hotep, I mean people that are interested in history and ancestors and stuff like that. So, even though Hotep was originally a slur created by the Afropunk, a lot of the queer Afropunk community, I embrace the word Hotep, but so I'm just using it as a descriptive word. But yeah, why is it that at Tassili's in Atlanta, they got armed guards, but across the street at Captain D's, there's no guards, what I'm saying? It's like, it's out of control. So, all this stuff needs to end, and, these cult leaders, gang leaders, they need to stay in jail, what I'm saying? And, we'll see what happens if they start adding extra charges and get him some, RICO stuff and interstate trafficking and all that stuff, whether it's coming from Puerto Rico, or whether it's coming from whatever. But I know, Velvet has, Eliana, has some charges against him and stuff like that. And it's a good thing that, even though the news hasn't mentioned all the heinous stuff like about Mariah Lynn, committing matricide against her mother, and they also haven't mentioned, a myriad of million of things that Nature Boy's done. A lot of these things were mentioned within this new complaint, what I'm saying, or within these new documents, these subsequent documents and stuff like that. So, that's pretty much it as far as this Nature Boy thing right now. So his bond was denied, and a lot of the conscious community is celebrating. What I'm saying? I'm celebrating for Atlanta. I'm a new father, and I don't want my son to have to grow up with cults and gangs and women trying to rob him. I got robbed by a female gang once. I went to like Foot Locker. This was in Bushwick on Graham Avenue, like Graham and like Montrose. And I went to this like Foot Locker over there with this woman, thinking like, oh, I'm on a date, and her friend was there, and her friend stole my bag and dipped and went to Walgreens and charged the cars up, And, so it's like, luckily I never got physically hurt from that. But there's brothers that are going out on dates and getting robbed, getting stabbed. A woman will set up a guy and have her real boyfriend or her real gang or whatever come and rob the dude. That happens in Atlanta every day. So it's just like, raising a son in Atlanta, the future of Atlanta really depends on what the cops do, because it's the elephant in the room right now with the gangs and the cults on the radio. What I'm saying? You got, Grammy nominated people, literally brainwashing the black community and trafficking people. Like Rick Ross, got arrested for human trafficking, and he's still on TV. He's, he lost his Reebok ads because of his Grape Word song, but, it's out of control. So once again, shout out to all the law enforcement that are bringing all the criminals and cult leaders and hip hop down. All right, peace.
Bond for a man accused of leading a cult and raping a former member. Police arrested Eligio Bishop late Wednesday night after officers surrounded his home near Decatur. That arrest came after a woman told police he raped her and posted sexually explicit videos of her on the internet. Fox 5's Portia Bruner is live at the Dekalb County Jail with the story. Portia?
Yes, and obviously that woman is identified police as a victim of rape, so we cannot identify her. But we do know that after she left the organization called Carbonation, she told police that she was the victim of a rape and that Mr. Bishop used video of a sexual encounter and posted it online as revenge porn. Based on the charges against him, that's why a DeKalb County magistrate judge decided to deny bond. Eligio Bishop, known as Nature Boy online and as Three God by his followers in the group Carbonation, heard the long list of charges against him Friday from a virtual court hearing at the DeKalb County Jail.
With prohibition on sexually explicit transmissions, 3 counts of that, 1 count of rape, and 1 count of false imprisonment. Because of those charges, I'm not able to set a bond in your case.
Outstanding.
Outstanding was the only word we heard from Bishop in court.
Black man is God.
The black man is God.
And y'all just locked up the Messiah.
Thursday, followers who were at Bishop's home on Arbor Chase the night of the arrest defended their leader and insisted women are not mistreated here. They invited us inside the home of the 40-year-old leader and showed us some of the videos they create here that are not sexual in nature.
We teach about sexuality, religion, and these are things that as people we have we're very defined and confined in our belief systems.
DeKalb County Police say a woman who recently left Carbonation told investigators Bishop raped her and posted video of a sexual encounter as revenge porn. Investigators arrested him Wednesday night. The women and men who follow Bishop say everything that happens here is consensual and designed to help black people heal from the wounds of oppression.
We're here going back to indigenous living and our true roles as men and women. And some people, women come here, they don't get their way and they go against the black man. They do false allegations.
It is definitely a cult.
Former Carbonation member Erica Carroll says she joined this group several years ago and left, convinced Bishop was brainwashing and mistreating women who trust him.
He is someone that needs to be locked up or either in jail or in a mental asylum.
Now, it is not clear when Mr. Bishop is going to have a preliminary court hearing. That's the type of hearing where we hear more evidence from police and what prosecutors have learned in their investigation since the night of the arrest. At this point, though, we do know that he is going to remain at the DeKalb County Jail with no bond. Fox 5 News at 6 continues after the break.
New tonight, an accused cult leader denied bond today in DeKalb County as he faces charges of rape and false imprisonment, too.
Police say Eligio Bishop and his followers that they have taken over a home just outside Decatur. But the allegations against him and his group go far beyond that. We have team coverage tonight, starting with Joe Ripley live at the DeKalb County Police Department.
Yeah, good evening, Jeff and Chiba. And it was earlier today when we saw Eligio Bishop appear before a judge for the first time since being arrested earlier this week at that DeKalb County home on charges of rape, false imprisonment, as well as a host of other charges. Police say they were tipped off from Bishop's social media posts. Let's show you a picture of that house now. Police arrested him here at this home in the neighborhood in DeKalb County. I spoke with a member of Carbonation. This is the group that Bishop heads. He calls himself, this member, Captain Ace. Ace says the group has millions of followers worldwide and focuses on leading a life of principles and morals. Ace says 14 people stay at that home, professing themselves as Bishop's disciples. He has been with the group about 4 years, says he met Bishop through social media, and tells me Bishop's posts resonated with him. Ace refers to his leader as, quote, God, and denied the allegations he faces, calling his leader's arrest one of the most troubling experiences he's ever had.
In my mind, he's not locked up. In my mind, I keep the thought frequency that he is free. And because I know that where my attention goes, that's where my reality will support.
You hear the word cult. Obviously, in this day and age, you definitely want to do research as to what is going on.
That is Patrick Henderson, a father. You can tell just from his comments, he's very disturbed, concerned by these allegations, as well as this group living down the street from him. He says if you see anything suspicious in your neighborhood, make sure you do your research and report it if it rises to that level of criminality. As for Bishop, he's going to remain in the DeKalb County Jail until Superior Court sets a new court date for him.
All right, Joe. And before Bishop's arrest this week, we uncovered the alleged cult leader had a long history of problems with the law, and he has a big following on social media. Investigator Andy Parati joins us now with more.
Hey, Sheba, he calls himself Bishop, Nature Boy, Christ. Those are just some of the aliases he's used over the past few years, all linked to his religious group with a history of problems in multiple countries.
He thinks he's not locked up, but we are in a state of hell.
This is video of 38-year-old Eligio Bishop posted on his YouTube channel, The Three God TV. It has more than 90,000 subscribers, where he regularly refers to himself as the Messiah and the Christ.
I'm the return of Christ.
He's lived in Georgia on and off since at least 2006 and is a former licensed barber. For years, social media posts and news reports show he and his followers bounced around South America, including Costa Rica, Nicaragua, and Panama, adding content to his prolific social media activity on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok.
Because they keep calling the cops over here, and I'm tired of man.
We found hundreds of videos and posts, many laced with profanity and rants about the world.
Being God is not cool.
In 2017, he was accused of keeping a Canadian woman as part of his followers in Costa Rica. Bishop told the Canadian CBC news outlet that the woman was free to leave at any time.
Outstanding.
He was sentenced to 90 days in jail, and then he and about 20 members of the group were forced out of Hawaii for breaking COVID-19 quarantine in 2020.
According to court records, Bishop has been sued twice for failure to pay rent, property damage, and was divorced in 2013. We have much more about this man and his wild history in this story on 11alive.com.
We're following some breaking news in Dekalb County. Bond denied for a self-professed cult leader. Eligio Bishop, also known as Nature Boy, is accused of rape and false imprisonment, along with other charges. Neighbors tell 11 Alive they're stunned by the allegations, but are even more surprised by what this group was posting online.
Its social accounts reaching tens of thousands of people on Instagram and YouTube. Joe Ripley, live outside the Dekalb County Police Department. And Joe, you got to speak to this group, the Carbonation?
Yeah, Carbonation, this is a group that says they abide by a different philosophy. Their leader, Eligio Bishop, appeared in court for the first time today since being arrested earlier this week at a Dekalb County home. And after a judge read out his warrants, his charges, he simply replied by saying, quote, outstanding. Neighbors there in that Dekalb County community are concerned tonight.
Mr. Bishop, good afternoon, sir.
Eligio Bishop saw a judge for the first time since his arrest earlier this week. His case now lies in the hands of Superior Court. Dekalb police arrested Bishop at this home in Decatur, charging him with rape, false imprisonment, and 3 counts of sexually explicit transmission.
He's extremely loving, extremely forgiving, literally wouldn't hurt a fly.
This man, who goes by Captain Ace, says he's part of the group Carbonation. Ace calls Bishop the head of the international organization.
This is one of the most troubling experiences I've ever had. The man that most people refer to as Nature Boy, I refer to him as God. I believe that he is God.
Ace described Carbonation as a religious philosophy based on science, focused on living a life of principles and morals. He joined the group about 4 years ago, and now he and 13 others live at this home under the guidance of Bishop.
I met him online. That was my initial contact with him. I seen that he was teaching knowledge that was superior to any other scholar or any other leader that I had encountered at the time.
Neighbors like Patrick Henderson are concerned about Bishop's online presence. That's what police say tipped them off to the alleged crimes.
I mean, obviously something like that is concerning, especially when you have kids around. So it's just a matter of now doing the research, kind of digging in and finding out who is doing what and really understanding the totality of everything going on.
Henderson says he could not believe a reported cult was housed down the street from him, but Ace and others in the group say they're fighting that notion.
I would tell them to reassess their perspective.
And tonight the group says they are supporting Bishop still, financially, emotionally, doing whatever they can to help him out while he remains behind bars. And he will do so at the Dekalb County Jail until Superior Court sets another court date for him. And coming up at 6, we'll tell you more about his criminal history, Bishop's criminal history, as well as look into more about the Carbonation group.
And tonight with a story you'll only see on 11 Alive. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Ron Jones.
And I'm Jennifer Bellamy. The wife of a reported cult leader wants to tell her side of the story. Eligio Bishop, also known as Nature Boy, remains behind bars tonight, facing charges that include rape. 11 Alive's Paula Suro just finished speaking with his wife, and she joins us live at the Dekalb County Jail where Bishop is tonight. Paula?
Yeah, Jennifer, you know, after 3 years of knowing each other, Velvet Marquez tells me Eligio Bishop forced her to marry him. Why? She says that he'd tell her that she'd then be forced to bail him out of jail if anything were to happen to him. And of course, today, something quite opposite is happening. She's telling us her side of the story.
I feel that now looking back, I feel that I fell in love with an idea because he pretended to be someone that he wasn't.
Behind this smiling face, Velvet Marquez faced her hardest years next to Eligio Bishop.
He literally held me hostage. He took all of my identification, my passport, my birth certificate, my social, my bank cards, everything, you name it, medical documentations.
She says Bishop, the leader of the so-called cult Carbonation, went from spoiling her to abusing her when she got pregnant.
I was forced to engage in sexual activity that I did not want to do. I was still strangled on multiple occasions. So I had to willingly engage in these sexual activities because of to keep myself safe. He would abuse me in front of the women.
She had their daughter in 2019, and a year and a half later, she says he forced her to legally marry him in a Las Vegas chapel.
There was no medical attention given to us. So when I actually went into labor, I had to be rushed to the hospital 2 hours away.
For years, the cult would drive and settle across Central America. Velvet says Bishop lived off of other members' PPP loans and life savings. She gave him her $3,000 college fund, while others gave tens of thousands of dollars. And after 4 tries, she successfully ran away with their daughter with no money but hope.
My child is important. I don't understand how anybody could leave their child to be with him or to go live with him.
Now, Velvet tells me she has since received death threats from Eligio and that he even showed up to her family's home in Louisiana just months after she ran away. Jennifer?
Paula, do we know, did she ever try reaching out to law enforcement?
She tells me she did, but it was very hard to track him down because he moves so often running away from law enforcement. But of course, now he is behind bars. Now, we also did speak to a former cult member, and we have her side of the story as well on 11alive.com. Jennifer?
All right, Paula, very involved story here. Thank you so much. Now, we have been following the story closely since Eligio Bishop's arrest. We have much more on the group that he's leading on our website, 11alive.com.
Cult leader who is now accused of rape is expected in court in just a few hours. Eligio Bishop, who is also known as Nature Boy, will have a bond hearing in Dekalb County. Former members of the cult say they suffered from mental and verbal abuse. The suspect is also charged with false imprisonment, as well as 3 other charges for sending nudes or explicit content to someone without their consent.
Yes, but I think we can go ahead. If you're ready on Mr. Bishop, we can go ahead on Mr. Bishop and come back.
Absolutely, Your Honor.
Mr. Stevens. Hello. All right, so now we've got Mr. Bishop. Good afternoon, sir.
Good morning.
Okay, thank you. You have had an opportunity to speak with your attorney, and Ms. Taylor, were you able to go over the particulars of the warrants with him?
Yes, I was.
All right, so do you waive reading of the warrants?
Yep. Yes, we do,
Yes.
Your Honor.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, Mr. Bishop, you are charged in case number 22-025579, warrants 22W5454 through 59. With prohibition on sexually explicit transmissions, 3 counts of that, 1 count of rape, and 1 count of false imprisonment. Because of those charges, I'm not able to set a bond in your case. So your attorney is going to follow up with you about filing a motion for bond in Superior Court. But that's going to be all we can do for you today.
Outstanding.
We have brand new details in the case of an alleged cult leader. We have stayed on top of the story for you from the start. Now a Dekalb County judge has denied bond for Eligio Bishop as he faces several charges, including rape. Just a few hours ago, our Paula Suro spoke with his legal wife and a former member of this alleged cult.
Brand new video showing Eligio Bishop's first court appearance. The 40-year-old alleged cult leader of the so-called Carbonation group, who goes by the name Nature Boy, was denied bond Friday.
To find the defendant to be a danger to the community, a risk to intimidating the victim. There's also a risk of flight and also the risk of committing an additional felony. So therefore, bond will be denied.
Those words a step forward in the right direction for Velvet Marquez.
This bond hearing is definitely celebrated by the survivors of the Carbonation cult.
Marquez, who says Bishop forced her to marry him when she was still a part of the cult and who has a child with him, believes keeping him behind bars will also keep former and current members safe.
We all have a very serious healing journey that's ahead of us, and we do not need Bishop taunting us, harassing us, and threatening us while we are healing.
In court Friday, the prosecutor read a letter from the victim who came forward.
I watched him whip a girl with a leather belt multiple times for 15 minutes straight, ordering her to kiss our feet while whipping her.
She added that Bishop has called his current followers from jail, asking them to contact the victim and get her to drop charges. Former member Erica Carroll prays she stands her ground.
Because he's very manipulative. I didn't want him to manipulate somebody or manipulate the judge to the point where they feel sorry for him.
The defense brought up Bishop's former employment as a barber and claimed he needs to be out of jail to seek medical care.
He has a tooth that is decayed down to the root that's causing him extreme pain.
They was bringing up points that really was irrelevant to me. It was just very weak points.
Bishop faces several charges, including rape and false imprisonment. Paola Suro, 11 Alive News.
Developing tonight, an accused cult leader is in jail facing several charges. His name is Eligio Bishop, but he's known as Nature Boy. According to Dekalb County Jail records, he's charged with rape, false imprisonment, and sending sexually explicit messages without the consent of the person in the picture. Bishop and the followers of the Carbonation cult have a reported history dating back several years. New tonight at 11, a former member is speaking to Paola Suro about the time with the group, and Paola is joining us live from the Dekalb County Jail where Bishop is being held right now.
Yeah, Jennifer, Erica Carroll tells me she is glad Bishop is behind bars tonight. She tells me she believes that him being in jail is only going to help open the eyes to the current members of Carbonation. What would you call it? A group? A cult? Would you call it a cult?
I call it a cult now, yes. Yes, I do.
A Facebook post convinced Erica Carroll to move from New York to Honduras in 2006 to embark on a life-changing experience, one where she was told she'd be able to build a new community, eat vegan food, and be in touch with nature.
It was just in a place in my life where I was just searching for some spiritual truth.
The group back then was known as Melanation. Carroll says it was led by Eligio Bishop, who went by Nature Boy. She says all 9 of them were forced to sleep in tents, use restrooms outside, and attend long meetings to, quote, face your demons.
It was a lot of verbal and mental abuse.
But after 1 year, what got her to leave was when she says she witnessed Bishop hit his girlfriend at the time.
He slapped her up and punched her a couple of times, and then he told her to go in the tent and give him oral sex. So that was the breaking point for me.
But walking away, she realized, was easier than going back home.
I had to check myself into a couple of hospitals and get my mind right. I was seeing spirits, I'm not gonna lie, you know what I'm saying? Like I was going through a lot, and it was all connected to him though.
Carroll says since leaving in 2007, the cult, now known as Carbonation, turned more abusive and sexual. She says for some, it wasn't as easy to leave.
He has the women fighting each other. He's put his hand on the men. He always said that he wanted a lot of wives, he want 10 wives.
He's had a history of charges before his arrest this week. Carroll remembers being in Costa Rica when she says he was accused of kidnapping a Canadian woman who was staying with them. Now, Carroll tells me she has been in touch with Bishop since leaving the cult in 2007. She tells me she even had a feeling he was going to get arrested soon and texted him just days ago, telling him, your days are numbered. Jennifer?
Wow, Paola, thank you so much for that update. Like we have said, this investigation into Bishop and this reported cult goes back more than 10 years. For a closer look into what we know, you can look for this story on 11alive.com.
What y'all know about McKinneyville arachnids with 10 trillion ants swarming all over with mandibles latching? Atlantis finest, mantis madness, the artist. Alkaline pilot Osiris, so solid go modest. And to be exact, this the ain't no more playing G.A. Tamaray, open all 3 of your eyelids. The highest title, numero uno, commander-in-chief on this beat. Romandio fleet to Guantanamo, I saw we playing dominoes, man. When you hop in the whip, bumping the Celia cruising, I knew they go Calderon. Then hit the liquid eyes, looking like Riddick Chronicles Pominos. It's the Honorable Apache break, Geronimo, woke path on the prodigal, keeping your eye on the Powerball. Now you see we switching lanes. What y'all really know about the river's veins? So many names, shot down in flames. Woe after woe, we see through they games. password, hood rave, pound settle, dose. Shout out to be for high weight folk holding down. Midday took my X chromosome. Ex-decimal syllabary, electrical gloom, metal chrome. Poem, manifesting in song. And took one for my folks that's gone. I'm so good, I'm on. The book is on. Good looking throne. Keep booking down. This here Brooklyn Con. Keep on cooking, y'all. Or make sure to check your phone and update the song. And took one for my folks that's gone. And this goes back to TNC Surf. About the same time Billy Tezak's adventure had crossed my turf. DNA time travel, ley line of earth. Master of rain, kick flip on vert. Triptych televised, picnic reverse. Misfits telling lies, lifted the curse. Hit, hooray, Don Quixote Bay. Trick switch, terrorize, this is the verse. And don't sleep on this likeness. Fight, grip mic, check the hype. This nitrous fight, this nicest repeat ISIS. Neck bit, vulture my shoulder, we pirates. Lynchian spices, Libyan prices. Ponyo, penny process, set a billion cycles. 50K horsepower, my S will be bites. And if it was in sight, is the hype when O's is right in. Sound clash of titans, O's techno Viking, Highlander lightning. Chopping heads for biting, outlast the tightest, Dolo, no hype man. What y'all really know about Atlanta likings? Senses heightened in Jetsu silence, Chupacabra sightings through empathic mind tricks. I'm so excited and I just can't hide it. What y'all suckers know about the science of siphons? Scuba dive with dolphins, life's totally awesome. Crossword crossing, crossroad crosses. Off-road boss house, dukes are cautious. Sonic clear raw dog, chronologically sawed off. Quantum mechanics shotgun, Copenhagen options. Gold-plated solid state, circuit boat gossip. Popping and locking, 1990 the possum. And who the Colossus of Gotham? Heavy in Austin, worldwide Boston. And that's just for talking. Zero gravity golf and watch the bouncing Spalding.